Good evening aspirants, welcome to Daily News Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 13th February 2024. Displayed here are the list of topics we are going to see today. Now without wasting any time, let us get into the discussion. Now look at this article. There was a petition in Supreme Court which challenged the appointment of Deputy Chief Minister in states. So the petition said that appointing Deputy Chief Minister does not align with the Constitution. But the Supreme Court replied that Deputy Chief Minister post does not breach the Constitution. So in this discussion, we shall see about the important points about Deputy Chief Minister post. Article 163 and 164 of Constitution deals with the appointment of Chief Minister and Council of Ministers, but it does not explicitly mention Deputy Chief Minister post. This Deputy Chief Minister post is more of a politico-administrative post, and this is often provided to appease the coalition leaders. The origin of the post can be traced back to 1947 when Sardar Patel was made as the first Deputy Prime Minister of India. And after independence, Anugrah Narayan Sinha from Bihar was the first man to hold the post of Deputy Chief Minister. So note these important points. Now let us see the structural part of Deputy Chief Minister post. See, the appointment and removal of Deputy Chief Minister is entirely at the discretion of Chief Minister of the state. The CM can appoint more than one Deputy CM. For example, Andhra Pradesh has 5 Deputy CMs. Next, with respect to tenure, as we already saw that he is appointed or removed as per the will of CM. So there is no fixed tenure for him, and Chief Minister can remove a Deputy Chief Minister at any point of time. Next, with respect to the rank, an important point to be noted here is that the rank of Deputy CM is equivalent to the rank of Cabinet Minister in the state. Moreover, he has the same pay as the Cabinet Minister. Now let us see the functional aspect of Deputy CM post. The first and foremost thing is, Deputy CM is considered to be the second highest ranking leader among the Council of Ministers. Also note that Deputy CM holds relatively minor portfolios with respect to Chief Minister. The actual importance of Deputy Chief Minister is based on the portfolio that he holds. So this is evident during the coalition times when the government needs the support of coalition leaders. The ruling party can appoint the important leaders of coalition party as a Deputy CM. Other powers like financial powers are also less, as Deputy CM does not enjoy any special financial power and has the same powers as other cabinet ministers. Moreover, the Deputy CM has no authority to see the files of Chief Minister. So these are the important points regarding the post of Deputy CM. So from our discussion, we can easily understand that Deputy CM is more of a political post and has no significant powers. So with this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next news article. Look at this article. India has established RuPay cards and UPI connectivity in Mauritius. It also established UPI connectivity with Sri Lanka. So these are the reforms of RBI to deepen the financial integration and to facilitate digital transactions with these two countries. So in our discussion, we are going to see about the basics about UPI and also about NEFT and RTGS. Firstly, let us discuss about UPI. See, it is an instant payment system which is developed by National Payments Corporation of India, NPCI. And know that this NPCI is regulated by Reserve Bank of India. UPI is built to our immediate payment service infrastructure, that is IMPS, and it allows instant transfer of money between bank accounts of two parties. So the speciality with UPI is that all the payments are instant, that is in real time, and it works 24/7, so it is not dependent on the working hour of the banks. So this is the important significance of UPI. And know that there are 3 main fund transfer systems in our country. One is Immediate Payment Service, IMPS, National Electronic Fund Transfer, NEFT, Real-Time Gross Settlement, RTGS. So these are the 3 main fund transfer systems in our country. Here only IMPS is 24/7 system. The remaining 2 systems can be used for fund transfer, and it depends on the working time of these 2 systems. So the transfer of funds are made possible in these systems as per the working time schedule only. But in IMPS, it can be sent at any time, and it is a major advantage of IMPS. So UPI is built on the IMPS infrastructure, and that's why it is an instant fund transfer system. Now let us see the important differences between IMPS, NEFT and RTGS. See, the real-time gross settlement, that is RTGS, is meant for large value transactions, whereas the other two, that is IMPS and NEFT, are not primarily meant for large value transactions. In RTGS, the minimum amount of transaction is itself 2 lakh and there is no upper limit or maximum ceiling of transaction in RTGS. In case of NEFT, there is no minimum or maximum limit of transaction. At minimum, we can send 1 rupee and maximum, there is no transfer value. But in case of IMPS, there is no minimum value of transaction, but the maximum value of transaction should be 2 lakh. Another major difference is the cost of transaction, that is transaction fees. There is no charges for transaction in NEFT and RTGS, but there is some amount charged by banks in IMPS transaction. So these are the major differences between these 3 fund transfer system in our country. So with this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next news article. Look at this article about Indian economy. It is written by former Union Minister of Commerce and Law, Mr. Subramanian Swamy. He talks about the current state of Indian economy by highlighting some of the issues in government's performance. So in this news article discussion, let us understand about the important points given in the article one by one. Firstly, the author talks about the decline in GDP growth rate since 2016 to 17. See, the GDP growth is different from GDP growth rate. So note this carefully, both are different terms. GDP growth means increase in GDP of country over a specific period of time. It represents the expansion of economy's overall output of goods and services. Whereas GDP growth rate measures the percentage change in GDP from one period to another. So it indicates the speed at which the economy is growing or contracting. And GDP growth rate is expressed in percentage. For example, if a country's GDP was 1 trillion in 2022 and increased to 1.1 trillion in 2023, the GDP growth would be 100 billion. But the GDP growth rate for this period would be 10%. So GDP growth measures the actual increase in GDP, but GDP growth rate provides a relative measure indicating how fast or how slow the economy is expanding. Now coming back to the article, even though the Indian economy is growing in terms of GDP, the growth rate has been declining since 2017. See, India's growth rate was 7% in 2016 to 17 and it declined annually and fell below 3.5% in 2020. But this fact was never acknowledged by our government. Thirdly, government making misleading claims about economic growth. See, in post-pandemic, actual GDP growth rate between 2020 and 2023 would be less than 4% per year. But the government included the recovery in GDP growth rate calculation and published that growth rate of GDP is around 6% annually. This is misleading because the reported growth rate may not accurately reflect the underlying growth trend of the economy. Finally, the author says that current Modinomics is an utter flop. The policies published by government are similar to the so-called Hindu rate of growth in GDP. Apart from criticizing, the author also gives some suggestions. Firstly, he suggests that India need a new economic policy that is based on clearly structured and stated objectives, and it requires a strategy to achieve these targets with a transparent resource mobilization plan. Secondly, the market system should be made transparent with minimal regulation. This will encourage deployment of innovation and pushes up the factor productivity. So this will ultimately leads to GDP growth rate. So these are the suggestions made by the author in this article. So in this discussion, we have seen the criticisms mentioned by the author and also the suggestions given by the author. So with this, let us conclude this discussion and move to the next article discussion. Look at this article from Science page. The scientists have released new details of colossal black hole which is 53 million light years away. Here the colossal black hole means the supermassive black hole which is billions of tons heavier than Sun. So this colossal black hole was first photographed by Event Horizon Telescope in 2017. Here the Event Horizon Telescope is a global network of synchronized radio observatories that work in combination to observe the radio sources associated with black holes. So the scientists have studied about the black hole using a concept called gravitational lensing. So in this news article discussion, we are going to discuss about gravitational lensing. See, gravitational lensing is a natural phenomena that occurs when a massive celestial body bends the path of light around it. Note that The body that causes the light to curve is called the gravitational lens. For example, if the light is passing nearby a star, the star will bend the path of light. Here the star is the gravitational lens, and this concept of bending the light by the star is called gravitational lensing. Now let us see how this phenomena occurs. See, gravitational lensing occurs when a huge amount of matter, like cluster of galaxies, create a gravitational field, and this gravitational field will distort and magnifies the light from distant galaxies. So the effect is like looking through a giant magnifying glass. So this helps researchers to study the details of early galaxies which are far away to be seen with the current technology. An important point to remember about gravitational lensing is that it is based on Einstein's theory of general relativity. So a heavy mass object will bend the light. So this is the basis of theory of general relativity. Now let us see the applications of gravitational lensing. See, an important application of lensing is called magnification. This will allow us to observe objects which are very far away and impossible to be seen with our current technology of telescopes. Secondly, with this phenomena we can find the massiveness and density of an object. See, more massive an object is, the stronger its gravitational field. Hence, a more massive object will bend the light more effectively. With this, we can find the mass of the objects. Thirdly, gravitational lensing acts as natural cosmic telescope to observe the distant objects in space. Fourthly, it allows researchers to study the details of early galaxies which are too far away to be seen. Finally, know that it can help astronomers to know about black holes and dark matter. So these are the important applications of gravitational lensing. So in this discussion, we have seen what is gravitational lensing and important applications of it. With this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next topic. Look at this editorial article. The article talks about Gandhi's idea of Rama and how it is different from current Ram temple and associated politics. Here the author criticized that people misunderstood Gandhi's idea of God and emphasized there has to be a clear division of religion and politics. So taking points from this article, we will analyze the impacts of politicization of religion in our usual mains answer writing approach. Now before getting into the discussion, look at the syllabus. This topic comes under GS paper 4 and also under optional subjects like PSIR and sociology. Now look at the mains question. The question is, evaluate the impacts of politicization of religion on countries' ethos and principles of democracy, taking into account the contrasting ideologies between Gandhi's Rama and present day developments. So this is the question. It looks like a lengthy question, but it is very simple. Here the evaluate means we need to look into both positive and negative aspects of the question, and we must provide an optimistic conclusion. First, in introduction, try to inform that politicization of religion has an impact and Gandhi's Rama is relevant in the current scenario. For example, as India navigates the complex terrain of religion and politics, the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi's ideology, especially his interpretation of Rama, becomes more relevant. Gandhi's vision of Rama is deeply rooted in the philosophy of truth, non-violence and moral governance. So in this way, you can provide the introduction. Now moving on to the body part. Here, we are going to talk about how politicization of religion has positive impact and then how it created a negative impact. In the first part, we are going to talk about the positive impacts of politicization of religion, and in the second part, we are going to talk about the negative impacts of politicization of religion. Firstly, let us talk about the positive impacts. It helped in social reforms and upliftment of marginalized sections. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, who politicized Hindu principles, worked towards the upliftment of marginalized sections of society. So this has increased their political representation and participation in democratic process. Secondly, we all know that religious organizations have promoted education among underprivileged sections of society by establishing schools, colleges and educational institutions. For example, Ramakrishna Mission ran schools, colleges and vocational training centers throughout India. Similarly, we know about Aligarh University. It is an educational institution established to educate Muslim population of India. So religious organizations have promoted education among underprivileged sections of society. Thirdly, it created a unifying force against colonial rule. So leaders used it to mobilize masses across different faiths, and it created a sense of national identity. Fourthly, the global promotion of Indian tradition such as yoga and Ayurveda has also been seen as positive outcome. Some religious organizations involved in activities including health care, disaster relief and social welfare programs. Fifthly, religious movements have been instrumental in advocating for social justice, including land rights, access to resources, and protection against discrimination of marginalized groups. Finally, in some cases, the politicization of religion has led to revival of traditional art, crafts, languages, and cultural practices. So these are the some of positive aspects you can mention. Now similarly, there are negative aspects which we are going to see in the second part of the body. So what are the negative aspects of politicization of religion? Firstly, politicization of religion can erode the secular fabric of the country. It moves India away from the inclusive and pluralistic ideas envisioned in the constitution. Secondly, emphasizing one religion over others can increase communal tension and conflict. This will undermine the national unity and social cohesion. Thirdly, Gandhi's concept of Rama and Ram Rajya was symbolic of moral governance and justice for all, irrespective of religion. But the current trend towards politicizing religion represents a departure from these Gandhi's principles. Fourthly, mixing of religion with the state affairs can compromise the democratic principle of equality before law. So this will lead to biased policies and discrimination against minorities. Fifthly, utilizing religious symbolism in politics, especially when linked to judicial decisions, can cast doubts on impartiality and independence of judiciary. Next, promoting a singular religious identity in multicultural and multi-religious society can lead to marginalization of other cultures and beliefs. Political leaders may also exploit religious sentiments for electoral gains by risking long-term social division for short-term political objectives. In the context of Gandhi, you can also include what is Gandhi's Rama and his ideology. Remember that Gandhi's Rama was a universal figure. It is representing ethical and moral principles that is accessible to all, but it is often narrowly interpreted and fixed with one particular religion. Mahatma Gandhi envisioned a secular and inclusive society emphasizing the principles of truth and non-violence, and Rama, as depicted by Gandhi, symbolized moral authority and righteous governance transcending religious boundaries. See, Gandhi's emphasis on moral and spiritual approach to politics is contrasting with the current trend of politicization of religion for power. The challenge lies in balancing religious freedom with the need for secular state and also ensuring that democracy remains resilient to divisive forces. So in conclusion, the politicization of religion in India has significant implications for country's ethos and democratic principles. While Gandhi's Rama envisioned a society based on ethical governance and inclusivity, the contemporary developments reflect a departure from these ideals. So striking a balance between religious freedom and secular principles of democracy is crucial for maintaining the integrity of nation's ethos and democratic fabric. So in this way, we can end the answer optimistically. So remember that the conclusion part has to be optimistic. So with this, let us conclude this topic and move to the next part of our discussion. Look at this article. It talks about a recent initiative called Swati portal, and it also highlights the report of Indian National Science Academy, which talks about gender gap and discrimination at workplace. So with this background, let us understand about Swati portal and other key initiatives of Government of India for women in the field of science. Firstly, what is the purpose of this portal? The primary goal of Swati portal is to support Indian women and girls who are either pursuing or wish to pursue careers in STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine. So the portal seeks to provide them with resources, opportunity and a community. So who developed it? The National Institute of Plant Genome Research developed this portal with multiple objectives. Let us see them one by one. Firstly, it aims to include women across all career stages and subjects within the STEM. Secondly, it establishes a statistically significant database and facilitates long-term research on equality, diversity and inclusivity within the Indian context. Thirdly, it advocates for increased role of women in decision-making process and recognizing them as essential half of human resource pool. Finally, the portal emphasizes the importance of science education for women, promoting awareness, critical thinking, and solutions to socio-economic challenges. And note that this portal is a strategic tool to bridge the existing gender gap by providing a platform for advocacy, support and empowerment of women in science. So in addition to this, let us see some of other initiatives of Government of India for participation of women in the field of science. First one is Gender Advancement for Transforming Institutions, that is GATI. It was initiated by Department of Science and Technology to foster gender equality in STEM. In first phase, 30 institutions have been selected to focus on increasing women's participation in leadership and faculty positions. Second one is Vigyan Jyoti scheme. It was launched by Department of Science and Technology, and the scheme seeks to create a level playing field for girls in high schools. So this is done by encouraging them to pursue STEM subjects in higher education. The third one is Indo-US Fellowship for Women in STEM. This program offers women scientists the opportunity to work in research laboratories in United States. It also provides exposure to global research practices and innovation in STEM fields. The next one is Curie program. Curie means Consolidation of University Research for Innovation and Excellence in Women Universities. The Curie program is dedicated to enhancing research and development infrastructure in women's universities. It aims to establish advanced research facilities and empower women researchers in India. So these are the important initiatives taken by the government in regard to participation of women in science field. Now we have come to the prelims practice question discussion. Look at the first question. It is about Deputy Chief Minister. Look at the first statement. It is a statutory office. This statement is incorrect. It is neither constitutional nor a statutory post. Look at the second statement. There cannot be more than 3 deputy CMs in a state. This statement is also incorrect because there is no limit for deputy CM post. As we have seen in the discussion, Andhra Pradesh has 5 deputy CMs. He has authority to oversee the files in the absence of CM. This statement is also incorrect. Deputy Chief Minister has no authority to oversee the files of Chief Minister. So the correct answer is option D, none. Now look at the second question. With reference to digital payments, consider the following statements. BHIM app allows the user to transfer money to anyone with a UPI enabled bank account. Yes, this statement is correct. When a chip-in debit card has 4 factors of authentication, BHIM app has only 2 factors of authentication. This statement is incorrect. Say this is a previous year question. The correct answer is option A, 1 only. Now look at the third question. It is about gravitational lensing. It occurs when a huge amount of matter like galaxy creates a very strong gravitational field. Yes, this statement is correct. It is based on Einstein's theory of general relativity. Yes, this statement is also correct. It is used to verify the existence of dark matters. Yes, it is correct. It also helps to study about black holes and other giant celestial objects. So all the 3 statements given here are correct about gravitational lensing. So the correct answer is option C, all 3. So this is the mains question for you today. Interested aspirants can write the answer and post it in the comment section. With this, we have come to the end of the discussion. If you like the video, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy's YouTube channel. Thank you for listening.